Hi everyone, it's Caroline here from Aussie Cards and Crafts, and today what I would like to do is to show you some simple cards that can be made without die cutting machines, without any specialized equipment that we quite often, I guess we become accustomed to them and they're there in our stash and we use them all the time. So what I'm trying to do today is, I know we have a lot of new crafting people on our Facebook site at Aussie Cards and Crafts. So what I'm trying to do is actually include those people and give them some ideas of what they can do. I'm sure they've got some spare scraps of paper and things like that around. And a lot of the things that you'll see here tonight, I'm going to do 2 cards, and a lot of them you will see can be done just with scraps. Now, I did this last night, and I made 3 cards. I made this beautiful card here, which I absolutely love. I also made this one. Once again, these are all from scraps. I made that one, and I also made this one. So there were 3 cards that I made last night, and as soon as I finished, I realised that my phone is just so chock-a-block with videos and pictures that it just wasn't recording anymore. So I've had to do it again tonight. So these are, I'm not doing the same ones. These are the 3 that I made last night, and they are on my Facebook site already. I actually downloaded and put onto a hard disk 8.2 gig of photographs and videos last night. It took all night to do it. So, okay, so I'll pop those to one side. What I'm going to do today is basically use scrap paper. So I'm going to do 2 cards. One is going to be similar to the first one here, which is this one. However, it's different paper, so it will look totally different. The second one is going to be similar to this one, but it's going to be totally different as well. So the techniques are very similar, not quite the same. So let's get started with this one first, which is the blue one. So I'll just move this one out of the way. Oops. Now, as you can see, your card base, both of these are going to be 6 by 6. So if you have 12 inches across there and 6 inches down there, score at 6 inches, fold it in and burnish. Always good to burnish to make sure that fold is in there nice and firmly and nice and straight. Okay, so there's our first card base. Now, what I'm going to do with this one, I'll take that card base away because we don't need that at the moment. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually using the orchids just here. And this was a scrap piece of paper that I think I've got spare from, I made a card for a girlfriend, for one of her best friends. And this was the reverse side of it. And I just think it's gorgeous. So I thought I would use that. The one that I used last night was, I don't even know what kind of flower it is, but it does look good. So what I've done here, and I've used a blue background, and we're going to use this. Now the blue background is 5 3/4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. Okay. However, I'm not going to stick that on yet, just in case there's anything that goes over the side and we need to cut it off. So probably not so much on this one, but maybe on the next one. So what I've done is I've actually fussy cut this piece out of a card, and that basically you can see that I quite seriously, there you go, I have literally fussy cut it out. It wasn't a huge piece of scrap, so you don't need to cut into a piece, a big piece. But yeah, this was there, so I thought, well, I'll use that one today. So you'll see that I've got 2 straight lines there and 2 straight lines there. Okay, now the reason I've got that is because this particular picture went off the page. So this needs to go like so. And because I have got an 1/8 of an inch border for my mat to my base card, I'm going to put this an 1/8 of an inch in. Now what you'll see that I've done is this one I put these ones down flat on the what is blue here, but this was another pattern paper. And then I used 2 lots of I doubled up on the actual tape that I put on. So this is only 1 layer because I don't have that second layer that I have to compete with. So I've put double-sided tape on there. I've fussy cut around the whole of the image. I used a knife to do these little bits in here. You can probably see. Let me just put the white behind. You can probably see there's 2 little bits there. I just used a sharp knife, like so. You can use a Stanley knife, whatever you want. But just to get those 2 little bits out, I think because we've got a blue background, I think it would look a bit strange with blue on the with white on the background. So what I need to do is I need to stick this one down, and once again we're going, as I said before, we're going to leave around about an 1/8 of an inch around that. So as you can see, I've popped the double-sided tape tabs on there. Sometimes I use the ones that are on the roll. These ones just were to hand, so I just use these ones. If they're too thick, you cut them in. This one is, yeah, that one's already off. Obviously there are parts here that you do need to cut them fairly fine so that they don't damage. Right, so now all of that tape is off. You can see I've got a straight edge there and I've got a straight edge there. So that is actually going to be down here and that one's going to be there. So it's a case of just maneuvering it around to get it into the right spot without actually sticking it down too soon. But I'm happy with that, so we'll go there. Okay, there we go. So that's the first part. Now, the second part is I wanted to put a wish on here. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be lovely to do something like this on the paper? Now, just before I go on to that, these greetings, you can make yourself. And what I did, and I did these ones today, is got happy birthday in different fonts. I printed them out on my printer. It's on the shiny photographic paper, and then you just cut them up as you need them. Obviously there's lots there. Now the ones that I did have, as you can see, were a lot smaller. Now I've had to use one of the smaller ones today because the piece of paper that I actually had, because I used a scrap of this, the piece of paper that I had was not very big. You can't, as you can see, there was not much left. So my other ones would not have fitted. So I had this brilliant idea. I thought what I would do is I would colour the photographic paper and then, sorry, I would take one of these, and I'll show it to you here. I would take one of these and I would put the colour over it, and it would give a beautiful colour behind, on top of it, to actually tie in with the, you know, the pinks and the blues of this. However, when I grabbed my my brush, you can see what happened. It actually took, because I've only got a LaserJet, an inkjet printer, it actually did take everything off. So I'll just take that up closer for you. So that was a failure. So what I decided to do instead was cut out one of the pieces from my scraps. And of course, I didn't have a piece big enough to put behind. So I'm using a smaller one. I'm going to pop it there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a couple more of these tabs, and so that I can get a little bit of dimension on it. So I'll pop a couple on there. And I'm going to, as you can see, I have just cut a piece of this out. That's all I've used as my backing for this one, because it will link in with the flower. As I say, these are an extremely easy cards to do, but hey, they still look great. They still give you a feeling of an accomplishment. Let me just move that along just a tad. Okay. So there is my birthday wish. I'm not somebody who necessarily likes them straight. It could go there, it could go there, it could go there. I'm personally going to put it there because that's the biggest spot that needs something to fill in. And by all means, if you've got flowers, you can put other flowers around here. I'm not going to do it tonight because I want to get onto the other card. But if you want to do the other ones, that's entirely up to you. Nothing is right and nothing is wrong as far as crafting is concerned. So I'm not going to put another layer. Sometimes I double it up. Yeah, I might do. I might actually double it up and pop a couple more of these tabs on, which will make my wishing you a happy birthday even stand out even more. So I'll pop that there. So effectively that will give us a double layer of the foam tape, and I'm going to pop that on just, yeah, I'm happy there. And then we get our card base, and we pop that on there. And I'm going to use double-sided tape for that, I think. No, I'm not. I'm going to use glue. Okay. There we have it. There's our first card. That could actually do with some, possibly, let me have a little look here. I reckon some glossy accents would probably finish this off. Glossy Accents is this product here, and it really does lift a lot of things. So I'm actually going to put some Glossy Accents in the center here. It does take a while to dry, and it is like a glue product. So I'm just going to do the darker parts of my my flower there. So it might not be dry by the time I finish the next card, but we'll see how we go. So just on the darker parts and just to highlight different areas of the card. So I'm going to just leave it there. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go and get some bling or maybe some Nouveau drops. And I'm going to put some Nouveau drops around just to take off the plainness of the blue. So just bear with me for a moment. Okay, so I always like to trial my Nouveau drops on some other card. I'm going to put it on this one. That's the back of this one here, just to make sure that they're going to come out okay. Oops, that was a bit thick. So that's a silver, and these actually aren't Nouveau drops, and I shouldn't be using that word. I do use Nouveau drops, but these ones are ones that my beautiful sister-in-law gave me. I think the blues, the white, the pearlescent is going to look better, so I'll pop that in the bin. Don't throw much away, believe me. And I'm just going to pop some drops. And you know that things should always be an uneven number. It should never be 2 or 4. It should either be 3, 5 or 7. So I'll turn this around this way. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, a bit more on that one. Okay. So there we have our very first card. Oh, that wasn't very clever, Caroline. Luckily, it didn't do too much damage, but I will put some more on. There we go. All over my fingers now. So there we have our first card. I have to be careful with this because it's got the glossy accents on. It's also got the Nouveau drops. Hopefully that will be fairly dry by the time I finish my next card. So I'll pop that up there. The next one is a totally different card. But once again, it's using scraps. Now, for those of you who haven't seen before, the way I store my scraps, and obviously I get lots of them, is I store them in colour. So with this one says gold specialty. So you can see it's got all manner of gold glitter. It's got gold mirror card, etc. So anything that's gold that is not just a plain paper goes in gold specialty. This one here is called Pink Patterned, and you can see there's lots and lots and lots of different pink patterns, ones that I've used over the years. And all of these scraps that I've done, even with the cards last night and the cards tonight, have come from my scraps. I think the blue one there actually did come from the green and blue scrap pile rather than the pink. But this is how I store them, and they're just in a container, like a plastic container, and they just sit up like that. I can see quite clearly what they are, and I find that I go to these more than I go to my drawer that has got my papers in them. So the next one that I am wanting to do is, and I'll just clean up my mess here because this one's going to be a little bit tricky because I've never done it before. So once again, another 6 by 6 card base. So 12 inches across there, score it at 6 inches, 6 inches down there, fold it in two and score it to make your card base. Okay, just along with, just make sure you burnish it. So there's that. Now, the next piece that I need, and I'm not sure exactly where it is at the moment. Oh, I think I might have messed up some of my Nouveau drops there. The next piece that I need is a piece of, and this is going to go that way. As you can see, oh, maybe it isn't the piece that I'm looking for, but it will do. Because I need to cut it off afterwards anyway. So the next piece that we need is going to be 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, because you've got a 6 by 6 card base. So 5 3/4 by 5 3/4, and I'll cut that down to size now. And this one's a little bit more tricky. What I did with this one, and you'll see that I've got my pieces here, and on the back you will see what I've done. Let me go from number 1. So number 1 is there, number 2 is there, which, oh, that's number 12. I was going to say that doesn't fit. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm missing a piece. which must be number 2. Okay. It's got to be around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I can see it now. It's got number 2 written on it. So number 2 is there. I'm going to pop this on like the wrong way around so that you can actually see how I've done it. Number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Going to leave a very small distance in between. You will find that we will actually, it will come over the edge of this and we will need to chop that off on both ways. A bit like I needed to with this one here. Okay, so I did that and then I chopped it off once it was dry. So that is our base. It's going to go right to the edge because then we're going to have another border around there. Okay, so let me turn these over, and the first one is going to go right down there. Now I want it to go along this edge as much as I can. You will find that this will come down, and what I'm going to do there is I'm going to cover that with one of those. So all of it will come out and it will fan out, and then we'll pop that over there to hide where it doesn't actually match up. So let's get my glue going. And it's really important, as I say, you can see that I've numbered these and you can see why I've numbered them and why I've cut it. So basically what I've done is I've done 1 inches. So I've gone from one corner, I've gone in 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, because I've got the first one here. And that is how I have done it. So I'll go to there. Number 2. And I'll speed this up in a moment. I'll just do a few so you can see it. And once again, it is a fantastic way of using up your scraps. And you pop those just so the ends are coming together. Okay, and try and make your distance between match. If it goes over the edge at the end, it doesn't matter. We can cut that off. That's not going to be a big issue. So there's number 3. And you can see the reason that I have cut them is that the continuity of the pattern in the paper. So when I actually drew them out, and I promise I will speed this up in a minute, but when I drew them out, before I cut them, I actually numbered them so that I knew where everything's got to go. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up now so you don't have to sit there and watch me do this sticking. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, I have fanned out those. I've tried to keep them as even as I can. And you need the continuity of the pattern here. The one that I did last night, I did a little bit differently. I didn't worry about the continuity of the pattern on that. That was just to use up some scraps. But this one I did use the continuity, and this one is just squares put onto foam on a backing, and I had one piece of paper, and it was 5 inches by 5 inches, and by the time you get your distances in between your squares, and that's one of the ones I did last night, once again just with scraps. This one, as you can see, we need to trim this off once it's dry, and I can't do it before it's dry. So what I'm going to do now is, because when I did this, obviously that didn't work with my last card. So I've actually used a bigger happy birthday today, and I've used the same backing, and I'm going to put that on some double-sided foam tape. The other thing that I am going to do, as I showed you before, if I can find it, is I'm going to see where this does not meet up there. I'm just going to stick this down. I'm going to pop that there. Gives a little bit of a bling, but not over the top. And I'll decide where I want my happy birthday from there. The happy birthday will be raised. But yeah, so let me see if I can. What I'm going to do, you might see that I actually got my mat out because it was just getting glue everywhere. So what I'm going to do, I'm hoping it's going to be dry enough. I'm going to use my knife. So you don't necessarily need to have a board that is going to, a cutting board. You can use a knife or a Stanley knife of some kind. This is my preferred knife at the moment, but I do have several of them. And I'm going to cut off those extra bits there. He doesn't want to get rid of him. Let's go. And I'll do it again while I'm still in the same spot. Make sure that it's nice and clean. And then along here, where this is the last one that I put down, because I've got the gaps in between them, you'll see that this one needs to be cut as well. So take that one off. There you go. How's that? I think that's gorgeous. We've got the beautiful waratah, which is a symbol of, I think, New South Wales, if my social studies teacher taught me correctly. So yeah, I just think that's gorgeous. So now you can actually, if you wanted to, you could actually put that on foam tape and raise it up. I'm not going to worry tonight, but if you wanted it to, you could. So now that just gets stuck onto your card. Pretty happy with that. Now what I need to do is just, I don't know whether I've got any foam tapes left. If I have, I'll use them. There's one there. Have, once again, using scraps, and all these cards that I've done today have used scraps. If you wanted to, you could put some maybe drops around, maybe not this colour, or you could use your glossy accents and just highlight different things. Entirely up to you. This would also look really good with a dark green background. It just depends on what you've got and what you've got available. So this was the other one that I did, and as you can see, I messed up my my drops there. So this was, and you can start to see this is drying, and that's going to really pop once I've done it. When I put these up on Facebook, I might actually put some glitter around the outside or something like that just to lift it. Then there's this one here, which I absolutely adore. And then, of course, there's the other two. And these, don't forget, they're all done with scraps. That was a piece of basically 6x6 scrap that I had from a card that I did recently. So there's that one. Then there was this one, which was another 6x6 scrap. And I just cut that into 1-inch squares, put it on foam tape, putting on a backing, and there we go. And this one here was, once again, I fussy cut the flower out. I had more flowers to play with last night, so I used that one and that one as well. And I put the main flower on the centre with a wishing you a happy birthday. So there's 3 there that used up some of my scraps. The only thing that you have to do is obviously you need your card base, but apart from the card base, it's a great way of using up your scraps. So I'll pop that one down there because I don't want to touch that one too much. Okay, so thank you for watching tonight. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. It would be great if you could subscribe to my channel. If you want to see some more inspiration and want a lot more inspiration, please go to our Facebook page. The Facebook is Aussie Cards and Crafts. If you're not a member, please just send us a request, and I'm sure we'll be more than happy to actually accept you as our group. We'd love to see some of the things that you do. We actually have a competition on at the moment, and we quite often have competitions. Our competition at the moment is Christmas in July, and that runs till the end of this month. And we have some lovely prizes, and we've got some amazing entries. So please pop on over there. Let us see what you're doing. I just think it's a great way for those of you that are in lockdown at the moment. I know we are here in Adelaide at the moment. This was brought about by somebody else who was in lockdown, who is in, I think, southeast Queensland. Carol Dawson. She said to me she wanted to do something that didn't have all the equipment, such as the die cutting machines and the stamping platforms and the embossing guns and things like that. So what I thought I would do, because we really do welcome all levels of crafters on our group, I would do something that was just with card and just with a blade and with a knife, or blade or knife and with a ruler. I personally have used a cutter on these, but if you haven't got a cutter, it doesn't matter. You can use your trusty old ruler and your trusty old knife. Okay, so thanks for listening tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. And once again, I look forward to hopefully welcoming you onto our site on Aussie Cards and Crafts. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.